Good afternoon. Group 6 will be the reporter for today. Group members Rodel G. Olivar, Hermail L. Santos and Jericho C. Ginto.
Ethics on Gender Equality in Public Administration. Gender equality is a fundamental human right. Yet despite progress, women and girls around the world do not fully experience equal rights, and their potential as economic, social, and sustainable development change agents remains untapped. It will currently take over 267 years to achieve equality in terms of women's economic empowerment and participation. It is also a necessary foundation for a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world. This issue particularly highlights both men and women's equal distribution, access, and opportunity for financial independence, education, personal development, and the likes. It is therefore fundamentally ethical to value this principle as it recognizes basic human rights, promotes dignity, and further respect human lives.
Gender equality in public administration. Gender parity in public decision-making is a matter of the full enjoyment of human rights and of social justice, and a necessary condition for the better functioning of a democratic society. Gender equality in workplaces is still a work-in-progress issue from our past up until the contemporary period, from the time where women are not even allowed to study and have their own occupations, to seeing them as inferior only to men and not recognizing their full potential, up until now with gender-based gap on salaries. These scenarios are always present in different workspaces, even on public administration and services. However, our country recognized this principle by promulgating such law, which is fundamentally stated on Section 14. Article 2 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution provides that the state recognizes the role of women in nation building and shall ensure the fundamental equality before the law of women and men. Furthermore, to address specific issues such as discrimination and gender-based wage gap, the government passed Republic Act 6725 on May 12, 1989, which prohibited employers' discrimination against female employees with respect to terms and conditions of employment solely on account of their sex. Moreover, studies have shown that in recognizing this fundamental value of equality in workplaces, it further improves its whole function. First, companies perform better when women are represented in decision-making. A recent study by the Pittsburgh-based human resources consulting firm DDI found convincing evidence that the most women are in leadership positions in the businesses that perform the best financially. In accordance with additional study, stocks perform better when there are more women on corporate boards, and peers, superiors, direct reports, and other colleagues view women as stronger leaders overall. Another thing is that there is mounting evidence that having more women in leadership roles benefits everyone, not just them. A variety of significant gender equality concerns that impact families, cultures, economies, and entire countries are more likely to be handled where women are represented in policy and decision-making. The global improvements that female public administrators contribute to are wide-ranging from establishing legislation to prevent gender-based violence to battling for equitable health care and educational opportunities for women. Whereas these benefits, however, also implies that this kind of movement should not be glorified that much and perceive it as an achievement. Gender equality is a bare minimum of recognizing people's right and should always be the norm. Wherefore, it is stated that there is nothing new about female leadership in public administration. The work of women like T.J. is described in a study by Mary Egei titled Gender and Diversity in Public Administration. Bochler, the founder of the Women's Municipal League of Boston, described the distinctive and gender-specific skills women possess to transform any setting into a home in 1912. She believed that these abilities transferred into creating better urban communities and emphasized the value of women leaders in a democracy. Leaders like Fergus Arabigum are still paving the road after pioneering women like Bochler and Julia Lathrop.
Ethical Standards of Gender Equality. University of Pittsburgh, on their module on gender equality on public administration, emphasized that the function of government is improved by equality and diversity at all levels and in all areas of public administration, makes governments more receptive to and accountable for a variety of public interests, improves the services provided, and fosters public institutions' reputation for reliability. Public administration is in charge of developing, translating, and carrying out public policy as well as offering its residents public services. Public administrators offer feedback when policies are being created and choose how to set up necessary government activities, as well as the nature and standard of service provision. Ensuring that government operations are being broadly involved in these crucial tasks indicates that a nation's citizens are reflective of their population. Gender equality is at the core of an inclusive and accountable public administration. As half of every country's population, women have the right to equal employment in their governments across all levels, sectors, and positions. Often the largest single employer, Public administration must assume the responsibility to mainstream gender equality. Public administration has the potential to model inclusive institutions where women and men equally participate and lead, and to accelerate development for all. United Nations further strengthened this goal by giving 5 measuring pillars on indicating the presence of gender equality. Furthermore, Sustainable Development Goal number 5 by the United Nations specifically gives importance on gender equality. Gender equality is a key component of social responsibility, and the empowerment of women and their equality in society is underlined in ISO 26000, Guidance on Social Responsibility. This standards aims that organizations should have a balanced mix of men and women in governing structures and management, ensure that both sexes are treated equally when it comes to recruitment, career opportunities, and pay, and ensure that the needs of men and women are given equal consideration in company decisions and activities. This standard seeks to eliminate bias and promote parity, according to the UN. The 4 priorities have been organized around 4 pillars: promoting women's security and combating gender-based violence, women's political participation and influence, women's economic empowerment and working conditions, and national accountability on gender equality and women's empowerment.
Deviant behaviors against gender equality on public service spaces. Deviant behavior is commonly defined as something that is far different from what people normally consider to be acceptable. Deviant behaviors against gender equality also includes what are stated above, such as gender-based violence, wage gap, unequal opportunities, and discrimination, and so on. Wilson on her blog has, as you know, listed some of the major issues or deviant behaviors fueling gender equality in workspaces. 1. Unequal pay. In terms of educational aspect, even with the presence of equality, especially in history, women had tied up with men with respect to society's standard. Even statistics says that women put up some major numbers which are greater than the numbers of men in terms of being educated, which is also reflected on abilities and performances. However, while some figures indicate that women make 80% of what men do, recent data released in November 2018 indicates that there may even be a larger wage discrepancy between men and women. Women make 49 cents for every $1 that men make, according to research from the Institute for Women's Policy Research. The new data, in contrast to previous studies, takes into account women who work part-time and those who have taken time off of their jobs to care for children, other family members, or other obligations. More than half of women, or more than twice as many as males, stop working for at least a year. 2. Sexual harassment. A survey performed in January 2018 by the group Stop Street Harassment indicated that 81% of respondents had encountered some type of sexual harassment in their lifetime, including verbal or physical assault, and that 38% of women had experienced it at work. 3. Racism. Unfortunately, it appears that race has a significant impact on how women are treated and paid at work. Depending on a woman's race and ethnicity, her compensation may change. Asian and Pacific Islander women make $46,000 on average annually, according to data from the Institute for Women's Policy Research. White women come in second at $40,000, while Hispanic and Native American women make the least money at $31,000 and $28,000 annually, respectively. Comparing what women are paid to what men are paid, earnings also differ by race. 4. Gender-based promotion and opportunities. Studies have shown that women are less likely to be promoted compared to men. Lack of female role models in the workplace is one reason why more women aren't advancing into higher-up executive-type positions. Women who lack a visible role model may believe that assuming a leadership position is just out of their reach. 5. Gender-based wage gaps. Women frequently find it difficult to request more salary at work. Fear of talking about money is a separate issue that affects women more than men. While being connected to the issue of unequal pay, women often hesitate to demand what they are worth at work, since asking for more money is perceived as being greedy or desperate. New research has found out that women negotiated their pay less often than their male counterparts. According to the survey, only 52% of men and over 70% of women accepted the income they were given without haggling. These are just some of the prevailing unethical or deviant behavior against gender equality in the context of workplace such as public management. Generally, these are all rooted through the perception that the other gender is far more superior compared to the other. These views result in different behaviors that is continuously combated in our society.
Solutions. The Republic of the Philippines, as stated above, recognizes gender equality and had made some significant steps to further amplify it. Provisions from our Constitution, specifically on Section 14, Article 2, provides that the state recognizes the role of women in nation building and shall ensure the fundamental equality before the law of women and men. This is one of the first steps on recognizing this ethical movement towards equality among gender. And to further support this provision, Our government promulgated laws such as the Republic Act 6725 on May 12, 1989, which prohibited employers' discrimination against female employees with respect to terms and conditions of employment solely on account of their sex. This is to specifically end gender inequality in workplaces. Other laws such as violence against women and their children and the likes are also implemented to cater on different gender-based discrimination, inequality, violence and the likes. Crafting laws to address these problems surely contributed significantly towards the goals of gender equality. However, to further amplify these movements, policy making inside the administrations and public service workspace itself and the likes shall also be strengthened. University of Pittsburgh recommends different policies to further promote gender equality in workplaces and specifically to public administrations. 1. Promote synergies with the broader gender equality agenda. 2. Strengthen constitutional, legislative, and policy frameworks. 3. Support institutional change within public administration. 4. Strengthen commitment to data availability to track progress on women in decision-making in public service. 16 Sudanese pounds at Agenda 2030. 5. Leverage partnerships and convening power to build strong global, regional, and national partnerships for organizational change. Moreover, other possible solutions could be educating other members about gender biases, being divisive and having sectors well represented, being transparent on auditing and salaries, providing equal learning opportunities and flexible working platforms, giving importance to the well-being of employees, and of course empowering them.
That's our group report for today. Thank you for your time. Good day to all of you and God bless.